Folks, if you enjoy this show, then maybe you might want to get a little bit more model behavior. And to do that, you can go to any of these social links, be it Facebook, Instagram, Patreon, get a YouTube channel membership, check out the merchandise page. All of these are available at links in the description down below. Hello, gang, and welcome to Displaying-Model-Behaviour, the Earth's mightiest video podcast. So take off your pants, crack a beer, and let's talk about the nerdy news that you need to know about. It's the only news that matters. And that's good news. Before we do, though, if you'd like to tap that like button, look, I made a graphic and everything. Apparently it does really help out the algorithm. Someone said, Dave, do you not tell people to like, share, and subscribe at the start of the videos? I'm like, no, should I have been doing that? They're like, yeah, it's like YouTubing 101. So there you go. If you could give a thumbs up, I'd be very, very grateful. Now, there's a whole bunch of action figure news to talk about, but there's a few other things I want to discuss as well. So if you just want to go to the action figures, you can do at the timestamp down below. In the meantime, though, there's a whole bunch of other news to discuss. So let's talk about it. Now, this I thought was kind of cool. We have some leaked concept art from the MCU Secret Wars and Doomsday movies. So if you don't want to see this preview art, skip to the next section. You can do, it's all posted down below, so you can just jump to it. But hey, let's take a look at this, because also it's concept art. And anyone who's bought an MCU Marvel Legend will know that the concept art often has nothing to do with the final actual movie that we see on the silver screen. So, just taking a look at this first one, we have Doom in his courtyard, I suppose in his castle, his throne room, and instantly you can see that Doomsday, it's probably going to be very much like the 2015 Secret Wars, where it's real Game of Thrones type vibes. It looks as though the entire world has been remade in this medieval sword and sorcery kind of vibe. I'm digging that alone. We've got God Doom, God Emperor Doom in his white robes on his chair there. Looks like Stephen Strange is his counsel, just like in Secret Wars as well. This gets me kind of excited. I like this because also it's so different from anything we've had before. We have a new Black Panther. I don't know, they haven't announced casting of any new Black Panther, have they? And again, this could just be a complete pie-in-the-sky concept. This could just be an artist who's gone, hey, let me mock something up. Hey, what do you think of this? But it's still interesting to see. Plus, they've got the kind of Wakandan Black Panther castle there, which looks totally like the Thundercats lair. But again, it's more fun and it's interesting to see. We got what looks like Bruce Banner Hulk, Jennifer Walters, and Scar, I assume. And it just looks like a live-action Shrek, to be honest. It really does. But more of this old medieval towns kind of vibe to it. And I'm vibing with this. Because the worst thing they could try and do is recreate Secret Wars. Not Secret Wars, that's what they're making. Try and recreate Endgame or Infinity Gauntlet. Give us something really different. And I'll be on board with that. We've got this tavern here with, I'm guessing, is that Wong? And we got Star-Lord. We got the Young Avengers as well. Hawkeye, Wiccan. We got Miss Marvel there as well. Captain Marvel. This is more, this gives me a sort of a Mos Eisley kind of vibe. I'm really digging that. And I'm liking seeing Star-Lord back. And speaking of Star-Lord, just hanging out, watching TV with the White Vision as well. Are we still getting the Vision Quest Disney Plus show? I know that they've scaled back a whole load of stuff, but I think we are still getting Vision Quest. I hope so, because I love MCU Vision. So seeing him just palling around with Star-Lord, who we know is back on Earth now, isn't he? That was where he was at the end of Guardians. That's cool to see. So that's all the concept art they had revealed. It doesn't really give anything away. It is literally just that. Concepts. They're pretty cool to look at. So it's kind of fun to have our first glimpse at what these upcoming movies might be. Magic the Gathering have revealed their Spider-Man crossover cards, and this is one of those things that I wish I could be into, but my brain is not able to handle a game like Magic the Gathering. With all my various neurospicy traits going on up here, it's way outside of my capabilities. I mean, I was just looking at a couple of the cards. Let me read you this Spider-Man one, for example. Whenever Sensational Spider-Man attacks, tap target creature defending player controls and put a stun counter on it. Then you may remove up to 3 stun counters from among all permanents. Draw cards equal to the number of stun counters removed this way. I'll go one better. Let me read the Venom one. Vigilance Menace. 3. Exile target creature card from a graveyard. When you do, put X +1 counters on target symbiote, where X is the exiled card's toughness. I love the pretty pictures, but I will never be able to play Magic the Gathering. Not even with a pretty Marvel paint job. Marvel Comics are giving Daredevil his own version of The Dark Knight Returns, set in a bleak and gritty world. A semi-retired Matt Murdock comes out to fight the good fight once again as Daredevil. And clearly you can see they're big time leaning into The Dark Knight Returns, which is cool. But at the same time, you can't capture lightning in a bottle, because that's what they were trying to do with Spider-Man Reign as well, to, I think it's safe to say, mixed results. I think that's not unreasonable. There was actually some good stuff in Spider-Man Reign, but there was also some terrible, terrible stuff too. We didn't need to see Peter Parker's old man hoo-ha, but we did. Marvel printed that too. That was kind of a surprise. Didn't need that panel on the page. Nonetheless though, this could be interesting at least. I'm going to give it a go. Hasbro have revealed their Netflix Daredevil, and it's absolutely a Netflix Daredevil. I'm a little bit underwhelmed just because it only has the one face portrait, which I feel like, man, if you watch Daredevil, all he's ever doing is grimacing and like, I'm so conflicted, such a dark show, acting. Whereas this is just so stoic, just nothing. He looks like a dork. Like, if this guy approached me in a dark alley, I'd be like, seriously? I mean, then he'd batter me, but still, I like to think that I would get the last laugh. So that's a real missed opportunity, is just giving him a grimace. That's all he needed, was just a grimace, because the rest of him looks good, I'll say. Looks like he's got like those sort of shallow, not shallow, but deep, like very small butterfly joints, but butterfly joints nonetheless. Nice amount of texture and sculpting on there. I like the Daredevil costume, so that's good. The head looks a bit big, but I think that's actually realistic. I think the human head is the right size, but then he's a real person wearing a real thick mask over the top, so it looks a little bit bobble-heady, but that's just the design of the character. So there you go, our first Daredevil Disney Plus figure, and he looks okay, but man, I am lamenting the lack of a more expressive face sculpt. Folks, time to take a quick pause for the cause and tell you all about this channel's sponsor, Legendsverse. And you know what Legendsverse is. They are the one-stop shop for all of your action figure collecting, cataloguing, and correlating needs. Whether it's Marvel Legends, DC Multiverse, Select, Mezco, Mafex, WWE, Jada, Transformers, Motu, you name it. They probably have it covered. And if they don't, they're more likely than not planning to. Not only can you catalogue your whole collection, you can see how much it's worth. You can check to see what you have pre-ordered, where you've pre-ordered it from. You can look at the user-submitted content to see what different teams there are and who goes on each team. So if I wanted to see who goes onto a Young Warriors team or a New Warriors team, Young Justice, New Warriors, those are the two different ones. Well, either one. You could go to the community section and see what teams people have made, so you can check off which characters you need to complete said teams. That's something I really like, a little sense of community there. Also, they do competitions as well. Right now, there's a photo competition going on, so you can submit your photos and win an action figure. That's really fun. Go check them out. Tell them Model-Behaviour sent you, and you'll be glad you did. Up for pre-order now, a whole bunch of G.I. Joe characters, and some that are going to be very tempting for me personally. The main one that I love the look of is G.I. Joe Classified Series Legacy Collection Search and Rescue Firefighter action figure by Hasbro. I should have taken a deeper breath before saying that. But it's just a sort of generic firefighter. And I thought to myself, I don't really need this. And then I pictured my collection, and I pictured Spider-Man swinging around Galactus with a fireman under his arm and the fireman helmet on his head. And I thought, dang it, That would actually look amazing, because I'm always thinking about how to enhance a big battle display, and having civilians who are, being rescued or helping and all that kind of thing. That could be so great. People could army build the heck out of firemen. Same with ambulance operatives, policemen. There's so many things that you could do. So $34.99. I was going to say, it's a little more expensive, but not crazy considering how much stuff you are getting. Considering that you see all the stuff coming with this, and it's $15 cheaper than Maximum Spider-Man. Oh, I'm not telling you what to think. I'm just saying that's putting a few things into perspective for me, at least. So yeah, this firefighter, he looks wicked. Then also, we're getting a big chunky pack. We're getting the Snake Eyes and Polar Bear action figure set, and this is all based on a story that I'm not familiar with, but people have to collect 3 different minerals of radioactive things or something. I don't remember the cartoon as a kid. But Snake Eyes, yeah, he's got pink hands and pink radioactive stuff and a big angry looking polar bear. $64.99 though. Whew! That's an expensive polar bear right there. But it does look kind of fun as well. Then we've got the more retro, classic style figures. First of all, we're getting Flint, and he's got all the bits and pieces you would expect with him, all the various accoutrements. He's going to be $25.99, so more of the regular G.I. Joe kind of price structure there. And also joining him, we're going to be getting the Retro Collection Televiper, also $25.99. These figures feel so kind of basic compared to the crazy bells and whistles ones, but that's also the whole point. Then also we're getting CoverGirl as well, and I really like the baseball cap look. Something about a girl in a baseball cap with a ponytail, I gotta admit, I'm like, yep, I dig that look. I really dig that look. So yeah, Courtney, CoverGirl, Krieger, $25.99, all of them available for pre-order now. Also, we're going to be getting the G.I. Joe Classified Series MASS, M-A-S-S, Device Breaker figure too. This is another one of those characters who's collecting radioactive stuff. Why am I telling you this? If you're watching this, you probably know the cartoon story far better than I do. Looks cool. I like the bubblegum. Very Jubilee. Very 90s mole kid. But it adds a bit of fun, a bit of flavour to the character. Ones like this guy who are so sort of classically real-world military looking, except for the bubblegum and the radioactive isotope or whatever it is, they would fit side by side with Valarverse. I think those 2 lines, if ever there were 2 lines that were just tailor-made to be together, it's those ones, the Action Force and G.I. Joe. And God bless them, they all look pretty awesome. Up for pre-order now is NECA's Shredder Dracula figure, which gets me very excited because it means that the Krang one can't be far behind, and you better believe I'm going to pre-order the heck out of that. That might be a potential figure of the year. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Shredder, and he looks really good as well. It's not something that I need, but I appreciate what's gone into it. All 3 different heads are super fun, but really it's the mask ones that look really, really badass. But honestly, when it comes to paint, sculpting, detail, these Universal Monsters mashups, they're just in a league of their own. I fell in love with the original ones, and they just keep bringing the heat. And this one's no exception. NECA are also putting up for pre-order their This Island Earth Ultimate Metaluna mutant action figure. I recognize the Alien. I mean, that's classic sci-fi. I just didn't know the name of the movie it came from. So yeah, classic 1950s sci-fi film This Island Earth. Going to be $36.99, and the reason I'm so kind of taken by this is, of course, this is the Alien design that the Universal Monsters Krang mashup is based off of. So that makes me think, getting these 2 together, having a little double display. The mind starts to come up with dangerous, expensive ideas, which luckily my own ideas price me out of doing what I want to do. So I'm safe. Although then again, I say that Krang is going to be coming home with me at some point. But this looks really fun too. Mety Toys are showing off some beautiful glamour shots of their 2-headed orc Cyclops monsters. I need to double check what the actual name is because all the information in front of me is in Chinese. But you know what? A picture is worth 1,000 words, and these, I could write whole damn novels with these. Especially, you look at the different prices of different figures from different companies, some of which are quite controversial for how expensive they are, and then you see this. You see what you can really get for your money, and it's just jaw-dropping. I'm not a huge, big sword and sorcery collector, but oh man, I think I want to pick one of these up if I can do. If I can find it in a reasonable price in import. I mean, they're just fun. There's not a lot of things in the world that are just crazy fun. These look like so much fun. I think I want to add them to my collection. At least one of them. I'll see if I can get hold of one. Mondo, who just can't stop grabbing new properties, are doing Street Sharks, and they've shown off their first one. There you go, Dave. That's a sentence. Professional YouTuber here. So it says, rip up the streets with our first ever Street Sharks collectible. The buffest, toughest great white in Fission City. The massive Ripster soft vinyl figure. Going to be $150 and available from March the 4th. So right now. So you can get on over to mondoshop.com and put your pre-order down. Going to come with a Ripster, so it's a Ripster figure with an alternate neutral portrait, parking meter, and concrete shark fin. I actually love the huge, big, crazy, wacky design of this. I didn't grow up on Street Sharks. Again, I was too old by the time that came out. But I do appreciate just crazy, wacky, bizarre-looking characters, and that's exactly what this is.
So, real talk for a second. As you can see behind me, I'm about to talk about a new Transformers figure whose name is Fistitron. Can you guess what my dyslexic brain thought his name was? Because it wasn't Fistitron. I could have edited this out, but I think actually I need to stand by my buffoonery.
On the Transformers side of things, we got a few new reveals from Hasbro as well. We got the Wreck and Doom collection. So we got Fistitron. Sorry. We've got Fistitron. Who names the... in lore, who names the Transformers? Because, I'm going to call you Fistitron. It's like, must you? Yes, we've got a Wrecker's Powerhouse, converting from robots to off-road vehicle. Okay, and then we've got Carnivac, Mayhem Attack Squad mercenary with a beastly edge. I think Carnivac looks pretty wicked. I actually really like this guy. This Age of Primes 2-pack available for pre-order at Amazon, and with some limited quantities at Hasbro Pulse as well. So there you go. But also, we're getting Legacy of the Primes as well. We're getting the 13 Alchemist Prime, a passionate defender of justice. Alchemist Prime stands for those who need help the most. We're getting the Combaticon Vortex, a descendant of the 13th Prime, Megatronus Prime. Pretty badass. Megatronus. Now there's a name you can stand by. And then Decepticon Crasher. Fast, fierce, and fearless. So there you go. Up for pre-order now on Hasbro Pulse. We have had a teeny tiny little reveal picture taken at, I don't know if it was New York Toy Fair. I think it might have been, but nonetheless, it was the Storm Collectibles booth where photos weren't allowed to be taken up close. But we got this very far away shot. I'll put credit to who it was that originally took it, if I can find it. At this time of filming, this was just sent to me by one of the good brothers. But we can see in the top left corner, we've got the Storm Arena Morrigan. That gets the blood pumping. I'm so happy to see that she's clearly not just happening, but probably quite close to being formally announced. Then also we can see Dan, who we knew was coming. We've got Chun-Li from Street Fighter Alpha 3 as well. Also Sagat, looking big and towering and imposing. Then also from their regular, bigger Storm line, we've got Zangief from Street Fighter 6. T-Hawk, who looks gigantic. And classic M. Bison as well. That M. Bison looks gorgeous. Then, of course, we've got Final Fight characters, Mike Hagar, and the dude who looks like Axel from Streets of Rage but isn't, and whose name I forget. So still, we can see that Storm Collectibles have been cooking, and it's that Storm Arena line. That's what's going to be bringing the heat this year. And Preternia.com have been able to show off the McFarlane Mortal Kombat figures, which were out on display, and they look bad. Oh, man. Look, what looks most bad is the poses. I had a rant about this on the members live stream this morning. Who was in charge of posing these figures? Because it just looks like someone didn't care. Just, well, they're standing up. What more do you want? So they've already got off to a rough start. If I was Todd McFarlane, I'd be furious coming over to the booth and being like, what are you doing? Like, these figures already don't look great, and you're making them look terrible. They look like they're posed in a 1980s children's toy commercial. Melina with Psy action. It's the year of our Lord 2025. Do you not know how to make action figures look good? So, yeah, that was a dubious start. It's nice to see Raiden as well. We got Raiden coming. I always change between Raiden and Raiden. I know it's Raiden. But yeah, I don't like the look of them. I mean, no surprise. They're the same style as McFarlane have always been making. But man, those big-ass pin joint arms, they look bad, man. Why are we going backwards? Why are we still using pin joints like this? It just looks ugly. Melina looks like she's kind of missing a neck. I know her jaw comes down quite far, so it's gonna make it hard to distinguish the neck, but still it doesn't look good. Just don't like these. I can imagine most of the comments going to be, what did you expect, Dave? It's Mortal Kombat figures by McFarlane. There you go. Very underwhelming. Not a good start. And half of that is just from the awful display posing. Man. McFarlane, I'm available for hiring. I'll just pose your figures for you. That'll already be a step in the right direction. Patriot Studios are showing off a mean-looking Resident Evil Nemesis figure. 1/12 scale, the good Lord's scale. That's what we love to see. This is the design taken from the Resident Evil Nemesis remake, which I'm not such a fan of. You know me, I'm a classic old person, so I would have wanted OG 90s Nemesis. But this still looks big, mean, terrifying, and badass. Looks like they've gone for the plastic options over any kind of leather material for the jacket, which is okay. It looks big, mean, and imposing. It's lucky that I don't have any kind of Resident Evil display at all, because if I did, I'd totally be spending money on this. But instead I can just sit back and appreciate it from afar. But there's a lot of appreciating going on. I think this guy looks pretty awesome. Well, it seems to me that action figure collectors are about to get rush. I thought that was a pretty good hawk right there. And if you don't think it was, then how about I tell you about some other action figures that are coming out in the next few months? Because the first one is going to be the Legion of Doom. I started off trying to do Animal, and I ended up doing Bernie Sanders. The cost of these action figures is going to be too high. I'm going all over the place here. I'm sorry for assaulting your ear holes. This set looks really fun, though. Animal, Hawk, in both different versions with the red pads and also the ones with the grey on them. I wouldn't want the ones with the grey, because that, to me, suggests 1998 LOD, where they're not at their best, whereas the red ones, that's like 1990, fresh in the WWF, ready to whoop some ass LOD. Those are the ones that I like. From Ringside Collectibles, these look pretty wicked. Hot Toys have fully revealed their Harrison Ford Red Hulk figure. It looks okay. Looks pinless. No, not pinless. Of course he's pinless. It's Hot Toys. Seamless is what I meant. Although looking at the shoulders, no, maybe not entirely seamless, but the elbows look seamless. It looks good. They always do. It's Hot Toys. I mean, what do you expect? The Harrison Ford likeness, I think they did a really good job with that in the movie as well. You know, you could see Harrison Ford coming through the face of the Red Hulk. The more I do look back on Brave New World, though, I wasn't a fan. It was certainly mid-tier Marvel, but kind of, I think, ultimately lower to mid-tier Marvel. But the actual designs I thought were pretty wicked. The Captain America Sam Wilson, he looks great. So getting the hot toy of him, pairing that up with the Red Hulk, as they have done in these photos, makes for a pretty awesome display. So this guy, I don't have a price for him yet, but I imagine it's going to be a bit more high-end. There's a lot more size and heft to this figure than the others. But hey, you're going to get your money's worth when you buy him, if you buy him. I mean, for me personally, there's a lot of other MCU characters I'd want to buy before Red Hulk, but you might want to grab him. A character I actually would want to grab, though, is Seiko from SH Figure Arts' Dan to Dan line. We've had the main little kid characters, but now we've got everyone's favorite chain-smoking sexy granny. I just love this character. I imprinted on her like a baby bird. The setup for this character was great because in the first couple of episodes, we just hear about Granny. And we assume that Granny's going to be this typical anime, crotchety, mean old lady. And then we see her, and it's like, oh, well, she is a crotchety, mean old lady. And she's confusingly hot as well. It's kind of that Marissa Tomei, Aunt May syndrome, where it's like, hang on, this was not what we expected, but we're happy we got it. So considering that I've got Okarun, I'd be very tempted to get this one as well. Going to be up for pre-order March 4th, so now, and releasing around about July. Valarverse have done a sneaky little reveal drop, but I managed to catch it. And when I say I managed to catch it, I mean Eric Fullen on the Fullen Report on the Model Behaviour Facebook page. He managed to catch it. And thank goodness he did, because we're getting surprise reveal. Series number 5, Valarverse Action Force. Weapons Pack Juliet and Weapons Pack Kilo. So pre-orders are open now over on the Valarverse site. You can pick these guys up. Honestly, they both look pretty wicked. I don't collect military type figures because it's not kind of my wheelhouse, but definitely just from an action figure connoisseur perspective, if I can flatter myself with that term, I appreciate a good toy when I see it. And these look pretty darn good. Joy Toy, they just, they keep raising the bar. So we're getting the World Eaters Angron Demon Primarch of Khorne. I don't know my Warhammer 40k lore, but I know cool-looking badass demon creatures when I see them. I'm going to try and find out the price, but also the scale of this, because from what I understand from Warhammer people, this is going to be huge. This is gigantic. But there's nothing in these videos or pictures to actually give it scale against anything else. So I'm gonna try and find out more details about it. In the meantime, though, it's a giant battle axe wielding red cyber demon with huge wings. Oh my goodness, with this and the 40k, what am I saying? 4 Horsemen, there you go. This, the 4 Horsemen dragon. Boy, there's a lot of cool, awesome, expensive stuff out there, and we can't buy them all. It'd be nice if we could. Hiya Toys, finally, have shown off full preview images of their 1/12 scale Robocop. A figure that was announced, I want to say back in 2021, maybe? It was definitely like pandemic era. We were talking about Hiya Toys doing this. And like, oh, we're going to do a 1/12 scale line and we're going to do Robocop. And I even put down a £20 deposit for it, which I think might have been just, kind of lost to time, because it's literally been 4 or 5 years. And then finally, it's happening. So I'm kind of back on board as well. It looks real nice. All the different display options of Alex Murphy from the first Robocop game. We got the battle damaged options, which is terrific. He's got the Cobra assault cannon, state of the art, bang bang. So many different things you can play around with. 3 different mouths. I love the battle damage. It looks so great. 6.5 inches. There you go. That is the good Lord scale right there. This, with the villains of old Detroit, I think they might be a bit too big for him. Doesn't matter. Robocop on his own is good enough for me. Hiya Toys, you might just get my money for this one. In Artist Alley, monkey mouth art. This dude, taking mostly Ninja Turtles. That's what caught my eye, but he's doing a whole bunch of other stuff. But beloved childhood properties and making them mean and psychedelic and cyberpunky and a bit of a Warhammer 40k kind of vibe. I've been checking out his work for a while and I've been meaning to post it. And then I saw his Krang and I was like, we gonna be covering this dude now. Go give him a follow. He is doing amazing stuff. And today's cosplay cover artist is Neca Wu. I think that's how you pronounce her name. Go give her a follow, because, oh my goodness, at first I was like, is this even a real person or is this just an AI creation? But I think it's a real person. Maybe with a fair little amount of After Effects implied on top, but the end result is a pretty crazy looking cosplay artist that kind of turns themselves into what looks like a CGI creation, but is actually a person. And that in itself is quite an art. So yeah, I think she deserves a follow for that. And folks, that does it for good news for today. What did you think about the stories covered? Comment below and let me know. And if you like this, No, I'm going to carry on. I'm going to carry on doing it anyway. Everyone stop watching by now. If you like what you see here, then maybe get a YouTube channel membership, and then you can join in the daily, almost, live streams that I do. You can be a part of the conversation. It's always a good time. Or if you want to join the Patreon, I'm pushing this a little bit more now because there are some people who don't get channel memberships, but they want to support the channel anyway. You can grab yourself a Patreon membership, and one thing that I do on there to say a little thank you is the Model Behavior book group, where I'll do a live stream where we read a comic together, or I read it to you. You know, you don't have to enjoy it. That's a great selling technique. I'm doing this thing. You don't have to enjoy it. You don't have to join in with the reading, but I will kind of narrate it. Jack and Nori's story, and I bring up the pictures, and right now we're doing God Loves, Man Kills. That's what was voted on, and that's what we're covering. And it's great because it's going to be the first time that I read it as well. So I'm really looking forward to that. So that's one for the Patreon members. But all the YouTube channel members, it's the daily live streams. You turn on, log on, tune in, and enjoy the party. All right, gang, that was an awful sales spiel. Let's get out of here, shall we? Let's do that. All right, until next time, keep displaying model behavior.